Alright, the issue I'm having with my Focusrite is I'm basically wanting to make sure that all of the inputs are working correctly because I seem to be having some issues, and I'm going to show you what those issues are. For right now, it's just basics. I have just got my Scarlett plugged in to the outlet. It's not even plugged into a computer. I am using an XLR cable that I've got running to a condenser mic, and then a 1/4 inch line running through the first headphone jack that is going straight into the input of my guitar amp. Not the headphone jack, but the regular input. And I've got my volume set at the halfway mark. So, on the headphone volumes, I've got it set to about 1/4 of the way up, and for the volume here, I'm going to crank it to about halfway up. And I've already got the reverb set on my amp so that you can clearly hear my voice, and you can clearly hear my voice right now as I'm talking through the mic. And you can see it lighting up on the gain. So the first input works fine. The second test is going to be the second input. Alright, for the second video here, I've got my XLR cable in the second input, and the headphone jack volume I'm going to set to the quarter mark, and in here I'm going to set it back up to the halfway mark where I had it set on the first one, and I'm talking directly into the microphone and nothing's coming out. Nothing's coming out the amp anyway. It'll register on the actual Focusrite through the gain there that it's, I guess, receiving that signal, but nothing is coming out of the amp itself like it was with the first input. Now, if I jack this volume all the way up, you'll notice the crackling sound through the amp, but you can kind of hear me coming through this a little bit, but that's with the level all the way jacked up, and it doesn't really, it's weak. It's not nearly as strong, obviously. Alright, in the next video will be the third input. Alright, for this video, I've got it in the third input. I'm going to take my headphone volume, go back up to the 1/4 mark, take this volume, go up to the, and you can already hear my voice coming through. And I'm not even near the microphone yet. Now I am, and you can clearly hear it coming straight through that amp. No problem there, and it's registering. No problems. It's coming up green. The next video, I'll be going to the next input. Alright, for this video, I'm in the fourth input now. The volume is set to the halfway mark. This volume is set to the 1/4 mark. My phantom power is on, and I'm speaking directly into the microphone. Hopefully. Anyway, I'm talking into the microphone, and there's nothing coming through this amp. It is registering on the gain, but that's it. And again, I bet if I crank this volume all the way up, it'll sound like a lot of static coming through there, and it'll pick up a little bit. There's your static, and here's my voice coming through it a little bit. But again, I'm having to pull this thing right near my face to talk, whereas inputs 1 and 3, I obviously didn't have to do that, and it registered fine. So I seem to be having issues with input 2 and 4 compared to inputs 1 and 3, which seem to be working fine. So if you guys could let me know what I'm doing wrong, if I'm doing something wrong, or if this is an actual faulty piece of equipment. Thanks a lot.